World hasn't had the best representation in YouTube, maybe because of the fact the game came out 11 years ago, or maybe because the YouTube itself being a different place all those years back, filled with hour-long let's plays and scriptless videos. The fact is, I want to make a video showing the gameplay of Cube World and as well talk about the game in general. Cube World has two main versions of the game, the Steam release and the alpha version. I'll be playing the later, because alpha is considered the best version of the game. The two versions are surrounded in controversy which me nor you don't really need to know because it's all just Twitter. Cube World is an action roleplay game developed and published by Picroma. Wolfram von Funk, the author and the only developer of the game, began developing the game in June 2011 and was later joined by his wife Sarah. The alpha version was released on July 2nd, 2013, but saw sparse updates and lack of communication from Wolfram, which was interpreted by Twitter as the end of development. Until Wolfram released a new, completely reworked version of the game on Steam as the official release. Cube World, being an RPG, gives you a choice between 8 different races: human, elf, dwarf, orc, goblin, lizard, undead, an absolute mascot of the game, frogman race. And while you choose what race to pick purely out of self-representational needs, as races do not have special perks to them, you might as well consider the 4 classes, which one of them your character will have. The most basic choice in any RPG is not as straightforward in Cube World, even though you have warrior, rogue, mage and ranger to choose from. Every class has different kinds of weapons which it can use, and every class is tied to its own gameplay dynamic, which I would say differs from most RPGs. As you will discover, the combat is tied to you stunning the enemy and getting an HP advantage at them. This also includes rolling and kiting the enemies. Because Cube World is an ancient game, it doesn't bother to ask your computer the permission to change file in its folder, and if it's restricted folder like, I have no idea, program files, the game will not save when you leave, deleting all the progress you may have achieved, which in fact happened to me when I started Mage playthrough. This is the reason why my character name is Dodd and he looks like the most regular RPG character ever. I tested whether anything will save, and it saved, so I just went with it. You are spawned in a randomly generated world which has special points of interest: the city and world bosses. The city being the only one for the entire world, so we'll have to make it huge travel. The world has resources you can gather that being different veggies and ores found in caves. From the first seconds of being born, I suggest every player to start murdering all living things in your vicinity. Because Cube World is an RPG, gaining levels and increasing your strength is only achievable by killing innocent creatures that roam around. And as it seems from the hostility of most creatures, they're also forming levels. With every murder you get XP, and with enough you level up, getting to points of something which you can use to unlock new abilities or improve those you already have. So yeah, just RPG mechanics. The perpetual motion machine of murder is supported by your mortal enemies dropping loot you can put on yourself and get stronger to kill more things. The things you kill have different color names based on how strong they are. Blue are fine, orange must be killed because they give more XP, and red are either you're dead, you're barely strong enough to kill them and get sweet XP in high quantity. Most of the time red creatures are too strong for you and your best option is to flee. Luckily, all creatures in the game have the same speed, so if you're far enough they will never catch you. The design of mobs is something else. The wonderful world of Cube World is filled with such horrible monsters, straight out of Fear and Hunger, like Onion and a woman. My adventures as Davik started with me picking up fights with crows and deciding to go for a world boss. When I came to the marker which says that there is a world boss on the map, I discovered that there are ruins which are filled with zombies and skeletons. I decided to kill them for some XP before the actual fight. The actual fight with the boss was not that hard, because combat in Cube World isn't that complicated. After I killed the boss, I started to run in the direction of the city, and on my way in the city I found out that the most dangerous creature in Cube World is a squirrel. I found a mage that hates rabbits and we fought them together on the top of the hill. I then found a campfire. A campfire will introduce us to the crafting system of Cube World. The crafting system consists of you having items that are necessary for a certain craft, and if you have enough of them you can craft things. It's not that complicated. On my way to the city I found a huge hill. It had an evil wizard on top of it. And so in the fashion of murdering, I decided to kill the evil wizard. But it just happened that if you fight without any healing potions, you will not win, because you're just at the greatest disadvantage at any fight in Cube World, and being able to heal is one of the most important things. So I quickly ran out of healing potions and died to the wizard. Having felt the defeat, I returned to the city and bought more bottles. I then decided to go for an actual world boss, as the previous evil wizard that I found was not actually a world boss. My next destination was a black castle that's filled with undead, skeleton zombies and vampires. Having defeated the undead, I went for another world boss. The world bosses exist for you to get massive amounts of experience points and get special cubes that you can put on your weapons on an anvil. These special cubes grant you different abilities. More exactly to your weapons, for example frozen cubes will make your weapons freeze things. On my way to the next world boss I found bunnies, and perchance I had a carrot. And there were actually 2 different rabbits for the position of my new familiar. So I killed the other one. There are pet foods in the game to get pets, and logically thinking you can assume that carrots will do for bunnies. The same goes apples for horses. But in reality you get a lot of strange and unfamiliar pet foods that you cannot even imagine to whom to give. At this point, you will get used to every single aspect of the game. The systems of leveling up and going up the food chain will feel natural, and the feeling of discovery will soon go away as you spend more and more time in the world you have generated. The speed at which all this comes to you is not linear but progressive, and you will not realize as you start to think of the game as more of a job rather than something you are interested to play. At the very least, this was the case for me. The last and the best boss fight I had was with this turtle, which didn't stagger as easily as other bosses because of its insane size. This prompted me to roll to evade its attacks. High HP pool made me maximize the amount of time I attacked the boss as to be able to manage with the amount of healing potions I had. This was the last time I had fun with the game. After that, I walked around killing stuff and gathering resources, but the content Alpha version could provide was out. I got to the edge of the world, which was guarded by a bunch of piranhas. I killed all of them, and this act really encapsulates what Cube World Alpha is. A half-baked, grindy game with great graphics, and future it couldn't realize. All things considered, I liked the game. Although from the last remarks you may think that I didn't enjoy playing the game, but I enjoyed Cube World very much. Cube World is a special world. It feels naturally interesting and original. But big promises and the amount of work which would need to be put to make this game a very great game is just too insane for one guy and his wife. Because I've never done this before, I would like to ask you to subscribe and put a like under this video, because I hope you enjoyed it as I put quite a lot of time into making it. And the only reason this video was possible is because a person gifted me a Discord Nitro for 1 month. So if you want to support me on Boosty. I'll be very thankful, because all of this takes a lot of time and I'm a man with quite little of it. See you in the next video.